What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, John Shookman. Excited to have you here for today's video and really want to kind of expand the social media piece today, right? I want to explain how many deals I closed in 2024 and how they came from social media and where that came from, because I truly believe that when you tell better stories, when you don't make the mistakes like we talked about on our last video, you can create success on social media. You can, anyone can. And what I want you to understand is most realtors are out here trying to sell on social media, right? And we talked about it, the mistakes, like on the last video, right? Open house flyers just listed, commission breath everywhere. And what did I say there? I said, when you do that, you look like wallpaper. People hate it. Nobody pays attention to it. And here's what I need you guys to know. Again, I built my business without ads, cold calling, door knocking, or buying leads. Why? Because people don't connect with ads, they connect with stories. And I'm living proof. So I want you to think about something. In 2024, I closed 29 deals, okay? 19 of those were listings, okay? So that means we can do basic math, right? 19 listings, 10 buyers, 29 deals. So I want to kind of pause for a second and let you think about it. So 19 listings, how many of those do you think I had physically seen in the last 5 years? How many? And I've asked realtors this as I coach them and train them. How many? Let's just think about it. So 19 listings last year in 2024. How many of those people had I physically seen in the last 5 years physically in person? Okay, got your number? All right, so I've had people guess 15 of them I had seen, 10, 5, whatever. Here's the amazing stat, guys. 19 listings in 2024, 18 of those people I had not physically seen in the last 5 years. Well, wait a second, John. So you're saying that 18 listings came from social media? Yes, my friend, I am. That is the power of storytelling. In 2024, I helped someone that I went to college with in 2006 sell a home. I helped someone from my old church sell a home, and they knew me when I was in youth group with their son. Like they knew me really since I was like 5 years old. But 18 of my 19 listings came from people that I had not physically seen in 5 years. That is the power of storytelling. And today I will show you why it works and how it works and how it can compound over time and how you can grow your business with it. But some people say, wait a second, so who was the one that I had seen in the last 5 years physically? And it was my neighbor right over there across the street. And he was an older gentleman and he sold his home with me. And that was the only listing I had last year where they saw me physically in the last 5 years. So the biggest mistake realtors can make is right thinking about their marketing as like throwing out listings, things like that. When all you post is business and under contract and this, right? Again, it can feel self-serving and it looks like wallpaper. But when you tell a story about a client, about your family, even your struggles, people lean in. They see themselves in your shoes. They see themselves in your story. So often, as I coach and train realtors, I talk about the day I lost my job, and you guys know February 26, 2019. And I say that that was like that moment. And they know that life because whether they've been fired from a job or whether they just hated their W-2 life, they can remember a moment like that. People want to see themselves in your story. And when they do, they will connect with you. And at the end of the day, people don't hire realtors because of a flyer. And I know some of you are going to disagree. I don't believe people hire realtors because of an ad or Zillow leads or whatever. If you're not good and you pay for leads, they are not going to hire you. They hire the agent that they what? Feel connected with and have built know, like, and trust with. And connection is built through telling stories. Now, how do you actually tell stories? How do I structure stories on social media? I'm going to give you a very basic one. I never wanted to be a teacher, but this is the closest I'll ever get to being an English teacher, okay? Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Tell me those pieces of the story. Who was this? What happened? When and where? Why does this matter? How did this change things? Even a small story, like maybe your kid says something funny at breakfast, can become a powerful point when you put it through filters. Without it, your post can be vague, right? When this happens, it can connect to people, right? And the other part of this is being real, right? I shared, I think, on the last video or maybe a couple videos ago about a realtor I coach that helped someone who was homeless buy a home. Can you imagine how powerful that was and powerful that is? And that realtor did and needs to share that story so that other people, maybe not homeless, but maybe just struggling financially, realize, hey, maybe I can do this too. Okay? Maybe I can do this too. Okay? So even a small story can win. Okay. One of my most engaging posts ever has been some of my kids. And I still remember one at my previous brokerage where I had my son in a onesie. He was probably a couple months old. And it wasn't really anything to do with real estate. I mean, it sort of was subtly because it had the brokerage name on it, and it said, if you're looking to buy a new crib, call my dad in the brokerage name. So really, it was a picture of my son. It didn't have anything directly to do with real estate. It wasn't under contract, sold, whatever. But that post got so much engagement and more shares and likes and comments than so much of my business content. Why? Because people connected with it emotionally. They related. They saw a dad moment, not a sales pitch. So many of them saw themselves in my story of like when they had young kids. And so that taught me something so powerful. Trust is built on a personal level. Stories build trust far faster than statistics ever could. I don't care how many houses you've sold. I don't care your average commission. I don't care how many millions you sold. On social media, people care about the stories that you tell. So here's what I need you to understand too. This is like a kind of, I guess, a little caveat, asterisk or whatever, right? A couple things. Number one, stories can compound, right? And so it's not just about the likes you get today, it's about the trust you're building for tomorrow, next year, even 5 years down the road. Here's the thing, I'm sitting here right now recording a YouTube video for you. But guess what? My social media post from earlier today is still working as people are going about their day, having dinner, whatever it is. It's working behind the scenes. And so social media is so powerful because it's not necessarily instant ROI like today. Remember, I was posting for a year basically and only had 2 deals that closed. But storytelling can compound, right? It's not about the likes you get today, it's about the trust you build. Like I said, in 2024, I closed 29 deals. 18 of my 19 listings came from people I hadn't seen in 5 years. Think about that. They didn't see me in an open house. They didn't get a postcard from me. They didn't see my face on a billboard. They followed my journey on social media on Facebook. They watched me be consistent. They knew who I was. And when they were ready, they reached out. Literally today, a great friend of mine out in Fort Washington referred and their parent referred me to somebody and said, hey, this person's been working with a realtor. They really could use your help. So I reached out. Their realtor is not doing the work they need to be doing. And they've been looking for a house for 5 years, guys. So again, what's going to happen is that becomes a story that then I help them buy and sell a house, which I will over the next few months. And then I can make a post about what it was like for these people to not be able to find a house for 4 years. And then probably in 3 or 4 months, we found something. That's storytelling in action. It's the long game. And it's more powerful than any ad campaign you could ever pay for, right? And people see themselves in that. People will see themselves and say, wait a second. I've been struggling with my realtor. I feel like my realtor's not doing a good job. Maybe I should call John. Recently, a couple months ago, I had a great friend of mine buy a house in Georgia with Marty Pettiford, who's in the EXP Wolfpack and does a great job there in Atlanta. Well, guess what? I showed up at settlement. I referred the deal out, but then on settlement day, I went to surprise my friend who I've known for years and hung out with Marty and her husband that day. And it's just wild what can happen. But guess what? Then a friend of mine who I have not seen again since college in 2007, 2008, whenever it was at my second school that I went to, had not seen them. And they reached out and said, "Hey, we need some help selling our home in Tennessee. Can you help us?" And guess what? Then, as we talked about it, they said, "By the way, John, we saw that post about you going to Atlanta when those people bought a home. You better come to Tennessee when we sell our homes." So guess what? A story on social media connected to somebody. Stories last. Nobody remembers your Zillow lead campaign, but they remember your story about helping a first-time home buyer or that referral or whatever it is. They remember those posts about your daughter's first day of school because it feels real and we can all relate. They forget your flyer. That's why stories beat ads every time. They last, they get remembered, they make people feel something, and they prove that you are authentic because you cannot fake storytelling. I still remember storytelling works, and sometimes we look at it and we're like, oh, well, I don't understand storytelling. All the brands are doing it. Nike is telling you stories. Apple is telling you stories. It's very interesting. Even months later, I still remember the Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl commercial that cost them $16 million for 1 minute. I just looked it up and rewatched it. $16 million Rocket Mortgage spent to have a commercial during the Super Bowl of all these journeys with family and singing the song Take Me Home Country Road by John Denver. And then at the end of the 1 minute commercial, it cut to the Super Bowl stadium where the Eagles won the Super Bowl, guys, for all of you that don't remember, Super Bowl champs. But it took you then to the stadium of the stadium singing that song. All of us in that moment connected to Take Me Home Country Road. And Rocket Mortgage did a great job, $16 million, but a great ad that we will remember. Why? Because in that ad, they're showing families buying homes and families connecting. And that is storytelling, and that's what people connect with. And so I'm sure that was money well spent. So let's wrap this up, okay? Selling pushes people away, storytelling pulls them in. Ads get ignored, stories get remembered. I am not a realtor, and I would say to you, I have told realtors this, and I will say this to you. You are not a realtor, you're a storyteller. And I actually will take it one step further. Recently, I've been saying to people, you're not a realtor, you're a storyteller and a content creator. And so the your business will basically, if you're slow, I can tell you the reason is you're not telling enough stories and creating enough content. If you're crushing it, I will bet you millions of dollars that you are telling great stories and creating great content. So are you. You are a storyteller and a content creator. So if you want to attract more clients, stop blasting sales posts, start selling stories and creating content around those stories. That's how you build trust. That's how you build know, like, and trust. That's how you create connection. And that's how you get business that years later, you will hopefully be in a position like me where last year, 18 of my 19 listings, I had not physically seen the people in person at all in the last 5 years. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If this helps you, please hit that like button, drop a comment about maybe what you learned or enjoyed, and hit subscribe. I post 2 videos every week to help realtors and storytellers and content creators just like you grow their business through organic social media. No cold calling, no door knocking, no buying leads, no buying ads. So thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys on our next video.